Hi, and welcome to Comedy and Mushroom Cult Podcast.
Sponsored by Great Clips. You're gonna
Sponsored,
like the way
what
you're
is that? Where you
looking.
got your haircut?
Nope.
Oh,
I
I
just
did
feel
think
like they're a
okay,
believable sponsor.
that would be a believable sponsor. I think we should do a fake. So it's Super Bowl Sunday. We
Yeah.
can start with that.
Sponsored by
Um,
Tostitos.
ooh, yeah, we need something that like would plausibly do it. Like I want a good. We'll work on it. Like let it sit in the back of your brain
Yeah.
because one, you already fucked up our intro. We were supposed to do the intro at the same time together. Remember?
Oh, yeah.
From 30 seconds ago when I was like, "Hey, let's do the intro together at the same time." And then you were like, "And we were talk together at the same time." And I said, "Yeah,
I,
I'll count us in." And then you didn't do it.
I got nervous and I have to poop now.
Oh, okay.
It's
Well,
fine.
that
It'll go
happens.
away.
Take the computer in with you. We'll just
No,
we'll
no, no,
just
no. I've seen too many like Zoom things.
but what we should do, we need to think about if it's Totinos, if it's Tostitos, if it's Fritos, something that ends with a O's, Cheerios. We need to do an ad read, and then we will clip that, and then we'll put it on the internet so they can see how good we are at reading ads.
Oh,
Um,
okay. Like,
and then that way maybe they'll sponsor us.
okay. My sponsor's probably not going to be related to the Super Bowl. So far, the only thing I can think of is Pennzoil. I don't know why.
Well, no, I mean it's if anything, we can do the Super Bowl as the ad read because people pay millions of
Well,
dollars to get their commercial on today.
well, I
The
just want it to
NFL
be
didn't.
just like Pennzoil. Is your car thirsty, you dumb bitch? Oh, did it cut out?
No, it went. I need an oil change. I've needed one for about a week, and I still need one. And it's just too goddamn cold to go get one.
Yeah, dude, my I think I got one like a week and a half ago actually. I needed one like bad. The guy was like, "You needed an oil change." I was like, "I'm aware. I just haven't had to drive anywhere."
Well, I've had to drive a bunch of places, and also my car has been like smashed in on the front end for like over a
Okay.
year. And like I just every single time, and I've had to get like two oil changes since it's happened, and each time they're like, "Hey, bud," and I was like, "Yeah, I felt like obviously I know, like it's
You have to.
part of my car's hanging off, like I know, like just change the oil, like I just don't, I want you to change the oil, I can get money for this at some point."
I remember like when I was in college, I had a Buick Park Avenue, and I needed an oil change one time. And I was trying to drive home like from Dayton to Cleveland, and Penn or Valvoline wouldn't change my oil because they're like, "You're leaking gasoline," and I was like, "It's fine. The car does that," and they're like, "It's not fine.
Like, yeah, it's a safety hazard,
It's a
sir.
safety violation." I was like, "Well, just don't light any matches."
Well,
Oil's
here's the
flammable too, idiots.
Yeah, but gasoline's a lot more flammable, and like oil like burns where gasoline explodes, and that's where the problem is.
All I heard is these guys didn't want to accept my challenge. I gave them a chance to conquer greatness, and they said, "Get out
Conquer
of here."
Great Clips.
Conquer Great Clips. Great Clips. Does your hair not look as good as it normally does because it's long? Great Clips.
Yeah, Great Clips will make your hair shorter. It won't be exactly what you want, but it'll be different than when you walked in here. Great Clips.
Great Clips. You'll ask for a haircut and you'll get something.
Yeah, your hair will be cut. It
Yeah.
won't be even. It won't like you'll be able to see all the layers of a fade, but it'll only be like $7. Great Clips.
You'll like have to tilt your head slightly to the left to make your hairline look straight, but that's on you.
People will ask you where you got that haircut, but not in a good way. Great Clips.
Great Clips. It's like so they know not to go.
Like so I just got my hair cut at a place called the barber shop, I think it was called, or something like that. And there's this thing up here that they have barber shops that are all set up the exact same way, where like they have like hair washing stations in the booth.
Oh
And
shit.
so like yeah, like the last two places I've got my hair cut both have had the same setup. And it's like where you guys all like a franchise and then one like decided to go against the grain. But like so you can't really tell on here, but like this part right here is like way longer than this side over here. And like my boss has been pointing it out every single day. He's like, "Why haven't you gone back and gotten it fixed?" And I was like, "Look, man, it cost me $20. Like they were very nice. They did what I wanted them to do. You couldn't tell unless you were looking that closely at
Yeah.
it."
I go to a hair salon called Tomorrow's a Hair Salon, And
Tomorrow is a hair salon.
I don't know if it's like, I think it's tomorrow's pause, a hair salon, like as a descriptor, or it's alternatively tomorrow is a hair salon, and I don't know which. And at this point, I'm like really don't want to ask him because I've been going for over a year.
Time is a square circle, and tomorrow is a hair salon.
Boom, that's a rule. But
I'm sure we can get them to sponsor us.
oh my god, yeah, just like give me $2 off my next haircut.
That's on Classy Dinner podcast. We'll get back to your story, but on Classy Dinner podcast, I would always shout out Tavern of Stowe or Stowe Tavern. I forget which one it's called, but it's like literally right around the corner from my old house that I lived in. And the one time I went in there, and I just like I would like shout them out on like Facebook and stuff. And the one time I just shouted them out on Facebook, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we saw you, and we wanted to make sure that was you. Next time, let us know that it's you, and we'll give you a discount." Like they knew that I like shouted them out so
that's
much.
amazing.
And then like I went in there the last time we went in there before we moved. We had the same waitress all the time, and like she ruled, and we would like tip her very well. And so we were like, "Hey, we just wanted to let you know, like, we aren't gonna be coming back anymore, but it's not like because you guys aren't good, it's because we're moving." And she's like,
"It's not because you're good, it's just because you're awful." And just like
no, and that's
more.
like we didn't want to like disappear and have them like because we were like regulars there, so we didn't want them to think that we were like they pissed us off somehow. And so like the chick goes, "Oh, are you still gonna do the podcast?" And I was like, "I'm gonna do some sort of podcast." Like, so they knew about us. So hey, shout out to Stowe Tavern, or Tavern of Stowe. I forget which one it is. They're back open. Go there, eat some food.
We're regulars. I don't even know what the name of the bar is, but we went there a ton.
I mean, whatever. There's just go to the one. It's on it's right off Fish Creek, and there's a free ad read for them.
Great food. Go to the Winchester. They got beer, they got drinks, they got music, they got comedy. They've got bathrooms that are clean.
The bathrooms are pretty clean. In that place, if you would have told me that place had clean bathrooms, I would have told you you're a liar. But they have clean bathrooms.
Yeah, it's a big must in Lakewood, honestly.
Lakewood is a spot that I like going in the bathrooms there, but like I don't like that it's all gender neutral bathrooms, and it's not because I'm against gender neutral bathrooms. It's just at some point being in Ohio and especially going to the bathroom in Cleveland, you need a woman in the men's restroom yelling at you to hurry up at some point because there's a line in the women's bathroom, and you don't have that when it's gender neutral.
That has never happened to me.
For real, that's never happened to you?
I mean, there's like one time I think maybe I don't know if it was the Winchester or some other bar, or I think it was McGinty's. There was like a line for the women's room, and some girl came in the men's room, and I was like using the urinal, and I just went no, and then she just went in the stall, and I was like, okay.
Yeah, like I was at the most memorable one. Yeah, it's always like, and that's you don't get that weird moment when it's all gender neutral because you're like, all right, whatever. But like,
and I still feel like I was in the correct bathroom, and I still felt like the bad guy.
Yeah, it's very weird.
She came into my zone. Yeah,
it's an important thing to happen because we were at a bar crawl.
She stepped into my dojo.
Yeah, like, hey, lady, do they have wall toilets in your bathroom? No, yeah. Beat it.
But I don't want to say the word "beat it" either because contextually.
Well, that's like we were at a bar crawl and there was like obviously like because the women's restroom there's always a line because it just takes women 8 years to pee because they have to like sit and take their pants off, and like these chicks like just bolted into the men's restroom. Like there was a little bit of a line because it's a bar crawl, so like they cut in front of them and like you get in there and they're like, hurry up, we have to pee. And it's like, this isn't even your bathroom, dude. Like you guys have to wait in your line.
So like what's crazy, this was like I think the last week of college for me. This guy that I went to school with, he was like friends with one of my good friends' boyfriend. Okay, so I like loosely like kind of knew this guy.
Okay.
And we were at a bar and it was the opposite. The men's room had like a massive line and the women's room didn't. And he was like blasted, so he's like, I'm just gonna go use the women's room. And he like went in there and immediately like a bouncer went in after him. But like the bouncer like knocked on the stall door. This dude comes out and the bouncer just like grabs him by the throat and like choke slams him onto the ground. And his head like bounces off the ground. And I was like, oh fuck, this like guy's gonna kill him. So I went in there and was like, touched the bouncer on the shoulder and was like, hey, can I just take him out of here and go? I like wasn't paying attention. Another bouncer came up behind me and just like bounced my head off the wall. And I
That
was like, I'm
seems
pretty
like
sure I had a concussion from my last final. Like,
yeah, that seems like it doesn't need to happen, you know? Like it's
yeah, and we
they
got like they tried to like throw us actually out of the bar, and I like didn't fall because I was pretty sober, but this other guy just like landed directly on his face, and I was
I've
like, they just like killed a guy. Like,
yeah, we've done like I mean, I've gone into the women's bathroom to like pee and stuff a million times. Like, oh, what's the spot that Cheese and Chong's is at now? The matinee. I've
oh,
gone
the
into
matinee, yeah.
the women's bathroom at the matinee like a handful of times because I had to go number two, and like the men's bathroom at the
I was there
matinee,
for that once.
yeah, there's no door, and like you just like there's no toilet paper in there, which apparently like you're just more likely to do heroin if you're a man in like the men's restroom
Yeah.
at the matinee. And so I was just like, well, I just gonna have to hang
Well,
out in the women's.
the stall in the men's room in the matinee doesn't even have a door because I think I had to use the bathroom there one time. I went to Chipotle.
Yeah, I tried to go to Chipotle, but it was like COVID times, so it was
I
like,
still went to Chipotle. It was
oh,
COVID
did
times
you?
for me too. Yeah, I was like,
Oh,
nothing will stop me.
I just felt like I was like, whatever, man, we're gonna make this work. It's gonna happen. It'll be fine. And then
Well,
like it was awkward,
yeah,
and they had like that shitty bar toilet paper.
I when I went to Chipotle, I did that thing where like I was like, I'm not gonna make eye contact with anyone. I'm gonna look directly at the bathroom. I'm gonna beeline it, and people working there will know not to like say anything. You know what I mean? I was like, if you're confident enough, you can use that
Yeah,
bathroom.
you just if you're confident, it's like anything else in this world. If you're confident enough, nobody's gonna ask questions.
Yeah,
That's what like you have to
it's
like.
just so funny that like the biggest like confidence moment I had this year was trying to use a bathroom in a Chipotle.
It's like when
It
you're
was like,
shoplifting and you're in college or something, and you're just like, you have to believe that you paid for whatever you're stealing. So like when somebody
yeah,
stops you and you're like, oh yeah, I definitely already paid for this. Like you just have to like it has to be convincing.
yeah. I'm like that person where I'll pay for it and I'll have the receipt, and then when you're walking out the door, if there's somebody standing there like checking receipts, I'll be like, I have it. Would you like to check? And like annoy them. They're like,
Mm.
obviously you're fine. Yeah,
Like at Best
Walmart
Buy
dude.
where they
Yeah,
used to check every single receipt.
it was so annoying, especially because like if you were at the first register, you'd turn around and the guy's at the door and he'd still be like, I need to see it. I'm like, how did you not notice me walk from like 2 feet away?
Or is
You
it
know what I
Sam's
mean?
Club or Costco where they'll like go through your entire cart and like
Sam's Club.
mark off? Is it Sam's Club? They'll
Yeah,
like mark on the receipt to make sure that like you paid
you're
for
good.
everything.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, cool. Like whoever's membership I'm stealing to shop here pays $100 a year. Like I'm sure that covers at least part
Yeah.
of maybe a ranch packet I might get for free.
And it's so insane because I'm like, I just got like 120 muffins for $4, and you're worried about me paying for it. Like,
So Jimmy, my college roommate, his mom went to Sam's Club once and bought like remember like when Gillette like razors like when those were like the 3 or 4 razor with like the cooling
oh
strip or
yeah,
whatever.
when they were the best a man can get.
Yes. So like
Yeah,
it's and but like they were like $1 million and we were like 18 or 19. So like we shaved because we couldn't grow real beards or anything like that. So we had to shave so we didn't look ridiculous.
dude,
And
my dad was like buying me the disposable Bic razors because he's like, you don't have enough facial hair for like a
oh,
man's
my face
razor
was
yet.
always like sensitive if I didn't use like good razors.
Same. My dad was
So
just like,
like
we're
if I used
metal.
Dollar Shave Club didn't exist and those ones were fine. But
Yeah,
like his mom went and bought like an 80 pack of those razors or whatever. It was like 80 of those razors for like $50 or something like that. Like so it was like cheap compared to what it usually is. And then by the time he went to like use it, he got them out and they were all rusted. Like so she bought a whole package of rusted
oh,
razors.
I would have respected it so much more if she was like, we're using them. There's no returns. Use the razors.
Well, that was like I saw Sternick tweeted that like his boss bought him like a single blade or something and made him
Yeah, he
shave.
talked to me on the phone about it. Yeah, he like shredded his face apparently.
Yeah, we had to do at a grocery store that I worked at when I was in high school. That was like if you came in with any stubble, like the owner would like make you buy like razors from the store, or you would have to use like the single blade Bic ones, like the plastic shitty ones that they use at tattoo studios, and like you would have to use that to like shave your face if you didn't want to buy razors. And it was
Really?
like, yeah, and it was just like, all right, well, I just guess I'm gonna shave my
So,
face.
so like the grossest thing that I think I've ever had to shave with is like in high school. There was a you had to be clean shaven in high school, and I like barely grew facial hair anyways. Um, but if you weren't, they could make you shave if it was like your second morning or something, 2 days in a row, and it was like a community razor, which
Ew.
was so suspect to me. Yeah,
Yeah, that's how you
and I like
get
had to
like
use.
hepatitis, dude.
Yeah, like if you cut yourself, you're dead.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, I had to shave with that, and I was it was so gross.
And that's like that's I'm glad that like I went to public schools where like as long as you're not like doing drugs in the hallway, they'll like let you kind of get away with everything.
That's my literally first detention ever was I wore a Led Zeppelin t-shirt, and it was the one with the old man holding like a light. It wasn't even like the bad like, and they were like, "It's the devil's music," and I got a detention one, and then I had to wear it inside out the rest of the day, which is not a good look for a freshman in high school. Like if
Somebody
you're
had to
trying to
do
make
that.
friends,
Yeah, in junior high, I mean, there were like limits to what you would wear, and like somebody wore a Hooters t-shirt, and it was like before I realized that like the owl's eyes in the
or
O were like nipples, and I was like, what? Like that's their brand. Like he's just wearing a brand
it's
t-shirt,
just
and then you
marketing.
see it, and you're like, well, fuck.
That's
How
always
much
so
money
weird to
have
me though,
you?
because like, what if his
Uh
parents own a Hooters? Like, what if that's his family business? So you're saying like, oh, you
exactly.
can't, you know,
But I mean, you also probably shouldn't.
have kids if you own a Hooters.
Oh, well,
Is
that's
that
a
where you were
stance.
going?
No, I was gonna.
Oh.
I was gonna say you shouldn't be advertising to the other children in the junior high. Like your your guerrilla marketing is to throw a
To high
T-shirt on
school
your
kids.
kid. Yeah, I mean that's what I'm trying to do with
That,
Harrison, anyways. Is have him buy all my merch and then go around Cleveland and have 30 people text me that they saw Harrison wearing my sweatshirt.
in fairness, I think going to Hooters when you're in high school is the equivalent of going to a strip club as an adult.
I went to I mean Hooters is
So,
fine. Like whatever. Do you remember when did they the brick house? Was there a brick house up in Cleveland?
like a house made out of bricks, or is that like a chain or something?
The restaurant was called Brick House and like it's
No.
in Chapel Hill, like outside of Cuyahoga Falls. And when it first came out, it was like a Hooters. Like what's the one spot downtown that they wear like the skirts and stuff? It's like it's a bar right downtown. It's right over by the casino.
Wahlburgers?
No, it's
Paninis?
no, it's like a bar where they all like dress like
Oh,
provocatively.
oh, they closed.
Did they?
Yeah. What's the name of them? Yeah, they closed. Like I think they closed that bar. The Ontario was right next to it. That was like my favorite bar downtown Cleveland, and they closed that.
Well, the food at
Um,
that place, I forget what it was called, but it was like the same place.
yeah,
So
the
like
Tilted Kilt. The Tilted Kilt.
that's it. So like Brick House was like the same thing, but it was supposed to be like more classy, but like it was just like chicks with like their shirts unbuttoned all the way. But then they like stopped that. And then it like actually became like a really good restaurant with like that was like classed up and stuff. So like they like
Hmm.
rebranded halfway through and it still had that weird stigma to it because it was Brick House. Like she's a brick house, like she's got big boobs.
Oh,
Like
like
that's the
this,
name of the thing. Yeah. So and then
which
you
would be a
would
great national anthem, by the way.
great national anthem. Not as good as I'm really on this. We should make Trap Queen. Uh, the
1738.
national 1738 like and we need to like post date the Declaration of Independence to 1738 like we can just change it, it doesn't matter, we can change the
Yeah,
rule.
they were in
So
America at that point. YOLO.
yeah, we were there, but like imagine we're at the Olympics, Michael Phelps comes out of retirement or something because he's the only Olympic
He's
guy I
golfing.
know. Okay, he's the
He's
only
the
Olympian I
only
know.
Olympic guy you know.
I mean
LeBron
there's
James is in the Olympics.
well yeah, but that doesn't he is a pro basketball player, he's not an Olympian.
I mean, he won a
Like
gold
that's not
medal.
his whole job. What's her name? Gabby Douglas. Like okay, she just wins gymnastics. They're all standing there on the podium
Oh,
and
who's the girl that like won all of the gymnastics last time?
I think
That's
that's Gabby
Simone
Douglas.
Biles. No,
Oh, that
Simone.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she's just standing there and then you just hear I said, hey, what's up? Hello. Like echo through the whole thing. Tell me you don't get chills. Everybody's dancing. It's the best.
It's only funny to me if they play like another like "O Canada" before that. Like
Yeah.
Canada comes a second, they play "O Canada." Everybody's got their hands on their heart or whatever you do in Canada, holding, yeah, and then like it's quiet for a second, and then you just hear 1738.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't it like wouldn't that be so great? Like you're just like everybody's dancing. You play the whole song. You don't
I think
even
it's
just like you
I think
don't
it's
cut it
funnier
down.
though if people still react, like if people still do the hands on their heart and take off their hats and don't dance. I think it's way funnier if that's the national
Dude,
anthem.
like if
And
there's
like
like
when
a
somebody's
60
somebody's
some year
talking
old, yeah, like
and
there's
they're
like
like,
some 60-year-old war vet who's got like a tear going down his eye because he thinks the song's beautiful. Like,
yeah, that's what I want.
but like it's the best
Like
of both
a
worlds.
dad smacking his kid's hat off to show some respect.
And nobody's kneeling because like you
Yeah.
have to dance to that song. Like it's at least I think it solves all the problems.
It solves all. It brings America together.
Yeah, and Fetty
It
Wap
solves all the
rules.
problems. I don't think it solves any problems. If anything, I think it would make it worse. But I do love that song as a national
How
anthem. It's
yeah,
perfect.
how would it make it worse? I think it solves all the problems. It's a bop.
Every time I think America's going to get better, it just doubles down
I
on
mean,
being
if we
awful.
changed the names to that song or change the national anthem to that song, a bunch of people are just gonna straight up off themselves. Like Parlor will like go downhill. Like they'll all just like die. So then everything will essentially it's addition by subtraction. I think it'll be okay.
Oh, 1738. Hey, when I went on like spring break after college, like the one right when we graduated, I went on spring break, and that was like the song that was
Oh,
popular at
for
the
sure.
time. And so every like there was a pool deck where they were playing music. Like every fourth song, they were like, "Have you guys heard Trap Queen yet?" And everybody was like drinking, so they'd be like, "No," and they'd play it. But it was just like I'd never heard that song before that weekend, and by the time I left, it was the only song I knew.
It was like Panda. Remember when
Oh
Future
my
came out
god,
with Panda, dude? Like it
I
shut
hated
the
that song too.
world down. Oh, it's a good song.
I
We
didn't
played
like
it at my cousin's wedding. Like I,
really.
I,
Did you
I
play it personally?
requested.
Like you're like I'd like to sing a good song for a friend.
Yeah, I mean, I went up to the because like my whole family's white, and we married another super white family, and so I walked up to the DJ and I was like, "Hey, man, do you have Panda yet?" And he's like, "Do you think people are gonna dance to this?" And I was like, "Probably not, but I will." And he's like, "That's enough for me,"
That's
and
enough.
it was hilarious because everybody hated it.
Everybody except you.
Yeah, it was bad news.
That's my favorite thing too, when it's like something you love and other people hate it and it makes you love it more. Like when they
It's
don't
like
like
what we
it.
were talking about like today. It's just like being or not today, this week when we were like texting and you're just like, why does it make everybody so mad when you're just trying to be happy? And it's like, I don't know, man. I was hammered drunk. My cousin just got married. I want to listen to Panda. It's the bop of the summer. Let's go and let's have a good time. Everybody else got twist and shout for the last 45 minutes. Let me have fun. Like it just for 5 minutes. Let me
Dude,
have my moment. Let's do
pe-
this.
people that like let their dreams die or like goals or just ambitions or whatever, and then get mad when you have them, that's just insane to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but
I
I
just,
also caught myself doing that with like I mean I don't think he would be mad if I talked about it, but like Jordan Ewell was talking about moving to Chicago soon and all this stuff like when I was back home.
yeah,
And it's like why are you going to move to Chicago? Like it's a pointless place to move especially right now.
they're not
I was
doing
just like
any shows right now.
they're
Like
not
I
doing
just
any
saw one of
shows.
my friends this weekend and she was like, it's dead.
It's dead. And I didn't like handle it the best way. Like I was being kind of shitty about it where I was like it's pointless. Everybody who moves to Chicago
You can't
either like
be
moves back
shitty to.
home.
He's the nicest person.
Oh yeah, he even said something. He's like, "Why are you shitting on my dreams?" And after a while, I was like, "I'm kind of yeah, you're not wrong." Like I just kind of came at this with like a bad attitude
So
about
nice.
it, and yeah, and so he like then
He's
he
like a
came up to
person
me
that
like,
wouldn't even fight back. You'd like shit on his dream and you'd just be like, oh, why are you doing this to me?
no,
Like,
he even popped back at me a little bit, and it was I mean I think our relationship grew from that moment because he was like because I was being shitty a little bit, he was being shitty a little bit, and then we were both like yeah I think we both just like went into this a little too hot about caring like because it
well,
just doesn't matter.
the last time I talked to him is he posted like a playlist that was like all of the songs from musicals that he liked, but the playlist is like 7 days long or something absurd. And I was like, is this just all of the musicals? And he's like, I left out two. And I was like, okay.
Can we talk? Is it removed enough to say that we don't have to like Hamilton? Is it far enough away from Hamilton to say that I was underwhelmed by Hamilton,
Well,
or can I get
here's
stabbed?
how I feel about that is I just don't like musicals, period. And people get really like upset when I say that because people, I don't know. I hate musicals. I can't do it. Just say what you
I
want to
like
say. Don't
some
sing it.
musicals, like Hairspray rules. I liked that one a
No,
lot.
no, hate it.
Um, really,
I
like
can't do
hated is
musicals.
strong.
No, I know.
Um,
I accidentally saw like once a year I'll go to a play with my mom to make her happy. And last time we went, we saw a musical. Well, I thought it was a play. It turned out to be a musical. By like the intermission, I just wanted to like kill myself. It's though I hate musicals. Just say the words.
yeah, I also I did
Either
I
see a
did.
band or see a play. I don't want both.
It's like when somebody comes up and does like like songs like they do like on stage when they'll do what's the parody songs, like when they come up and do parody songs, like write a joke or write a funny song, don't do halfway. Like that always drives me nuts.
The only thing, like the only person that can realistically do that in my mind is Weird Al, because he built an entire career off of it.
Yeah, or like just but also just do like write a funny song. There's nothing
Yeah,
wrong with writing a funny song. I'm fine with writing with
same.
people doing
I love
music
Flight of the
songs.
Concords. Love Stephen Lynch.
Yeah, and like the other one, the I'm on a boat people,
Oh,
that
Lonely
song
Island.
rules.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that's great. They
Dude,
had their
Tenacious
time.
D at their peak.
Tenacious D is great, just
Yeah.
Jack Black period. But
Yeah.
like also don't but just don't like somebody did that and wrote like a shitty Beatles parody. And I went up on stage and I was like it was probably I wasn't very nice, but it was like he was not good. Like he just wrote a shitty Beatles parody. So I went up there and I was like, "Hey man," because he like lashed out on the crowd for not liking it, and it was at like the
Was that
Old
in
Stone
like?
Tavern.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. I
So
was
it was
there.
like a while ago. So I like went up and I was like, "Hey man, people just don't like halfway learned songs and halfway written parody songs. That's all it is." Like
But
I just like
I've been at a show where the crowd was like primarily older, like white people for the most part, and somebody did like a song parody of some Pink Floyd song, I think, and they changed the lyrics to relate to older people, and it murdered. And it was like one of those things that like made me lose faith in audiences. I was like, okay, so you don't know what's actually good. You know what I mean?
that's true, but that's also like that that's actually not good because like it's one of those like I just did the open mic up at Skyline on Wednesday and it was
Brag
like
about it.
all comedians, like it was all
Fucking just
comedians.
no, you just brag about it. Yeah, all comedians, we get it.
You just did it's the same shows that you do all the time. Like it was all
Yeah, but it was a
comedians
comedy
and
club. I
then
get it. No, that's what I mean.
but then there was like at least I'm not doing crowd work on
Oh, that looks
but
good.
crowd work means you don't have material, Joe. But like it was all comedians and then like two tables of not comedians. And like I had and it was like a guy and his wife or girlfriend and then like
I would
some
have done
other
crowd
single
work to
dude.
those tables.
And I had like the chick who was at the table, I had her cackling, but it was like dead silent everywhere else. And I was like, okay, so this is actually funny. Like I've got like
Yeah,
it's not funny to comedians. I'm not trying to make them laugh. Like I'm trying to like do a new like it was new jokes too. So I was like trying to work it out and trying to get it into like some sort of like just say it out loud. And it was like, okay, I got like the people who I want to laugh at this
yeah.
to laugh at it. And it's like the same thing with like doing your parody songs. Like if that guy does 45 and older white people crowds, like maybe he's just found that that's
He
what
gets his
fucking
he
slays.
like gets his audience though, so you can't
Yeah.
blame him. Like if it works, it works.
Yeah, and there's like this one guy, his name's Rob Brackenridge. He's like a Wisconsin like god. He's just like one of those like old-timey guys. He's like the Mike Conley of Wisconsin.
Okay.
Like just like the locals love him. And he goes up on like an open mic stage and like does Like he's like very like big and act outy and like what like regular white people crowds love. Like and he just like it bombed because he's at an open mic, but you know in
Uh,
a full room of like
he's gonna
his
kill it.
crowd,
Yeah.
it's murder. Like and you just see it and you're like, "Oh, this is a murder joke." Like this joke is a straight murder joke that he could close on with a regular crowd, but I'm not trying to watch it. Like I can do that joke. That's why I don't find it funny. like it's like I
Well,
could
I
have come up
did
with that.
like I did a show Friday. It's like Brandon Petrie and John Brown show at the Grindstone, and I did that Herbie joke for the first time in like probably like 4 or 5 months. And I'm like, that's what I want to do jokes about. I want to talk about shitty movies that make me happy.
Yeah, that's what
And
and
when
I
you
mean
explain them to people, they haven't seen it, and they're like, "Is that movie even real?" Like you can see people being like, "He's making this up." I'm like, "This is just a factual recollection."
well, and that's what like I mean, I was writing so many jokes to like and again, it was like what we were kind of texting about. It was like I'm gonna write jokes that I think are funny because like at this point
Yeah,
I know what's funny. Like I know it's funny to me. Like I'm gonna write something that I think is funny. I think I have a pretty good pulse on what's actually funny. Maybe it's not funny to that crowd or like that specific booker, but I'm gonna write something that I think is funny because I think I know what's pretty funny, and I'm gonna go up and I'm gonna tell it, and then like 30 to 40% of the crowd is going to think that it's great. Some people are going to laugh because other people are laughing. And like enough people are just going to hate it. And it's like, whatever. Like, I'm the one who has to do this dumb shit in and out, like every single time. Like, why not be funny and like not worry about like the booker who's booking for like some shitty bar gig in Oshkosh. Like,
so
cool.
it's
Like
like,
great, that's money and that's how you work your
yeah,
way up. But like whatever. I have to live with myself, so why not write something I like doing?
what I was kind of thinking about this week too. Like this is like a weird, like sciencey thought. I don't know. That's maybe not the right word, but like, what percentage of the audience do you need to like if you have a full room of like 50 people, let's say, like what
Mhm.
percentage of the room do you need to make laugh? So then like other people just start laughing by extension, so they don't look like the ones that aren't laughing. Like, do you ever
Well, I think
like,
it's just more than people who would like talk. You know what I mean? Where it's
yeah,
like where if you're doing like I did it once. It was the co-feature contest against I forget what his name is,
I'll
but
brag
like
about
he
it.
went up, huh?
So it's like, oh, brag about it, name drop.
You just did it last week. Like all these things that you are currently doing. I'm just bringing up that I did them like a year before you. Like that just means that I've
Okay,
stagnated and you're growing. like
brag about it.
yeah, like brag that you've been doing this long enough that you stagnated. But
I
no,
love that. I love that you said I did it with whatever his name is, and I was like, a sweet name drop, dude.
it was Kevin Ross. Like and so like
Okay, brag about it. Whatever, dude.
yeah, so it was like I like any other crowd I would have just like destroyed, and this crowd just like was not having it, and they liked like older white people jokes, and he fucking crushed this crowd. And then but like there was a table of like younger people who like there was maybe 8 to 10 of them, and there were like 30 or 40 people in there, and it was like they loved it, and it was like
Yeah,
okay, this is who I'm going for. So you're like yeah, he might have crushed the whole crowd of 40 plus white people, but I'm not going like that crowd is not who I'm gonna be. Like I want people and I've had like this lady who follows me on Instagram, she's like a fan, I would guess. And she like brought her kids to shows. Yeah. like she brought her kids to a
I like that
show.
you have an actual fan and you still air quote it. You're like, she's,
I don't have
I guess, a fan. She
yeah,
likes
but
all
like
my
her
stuff and she comes to my shows, but I guess she's a
she
fan.
doesn't she came whatever. But like her kids were like she came up to me with her kids and they're like and she goes you were their
Sign my
favorite
kid.
tonight. Yeah, and I was like great, how old are your kids? And she's like 18 and 17, and I was like perfect. And I was but then afterwards I was like oh, but like if for some reason I get like good at this and big, like you want somebody who's 10 years
Yeah,
younger than you because then they're gonna
yeah,
be spending money on you more. So I don't know, it's always like that weird like I'm not trying to be middle class white people funny all the time, but they're the people with the money.
yeah. I mean, like anytime, like so, like when you do a room, I like it when you have like a mixed demographic. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I like it like if you're like if I'm going for like younger people generally, I like it like when they laugh hard at my jokes, but if there's some older people mixed in, I still want to see them at least like laughing a bit, you know? Like I'm like, if it
Yeah.
can hit across the board, maybe it doesn't hit as hard for some people, but if it can hit across the board, I'm pretty happy.
Well, that's almost like that's how you
Um,
get like famous and on Netflix is hitting those like across the board kind of deals, but also
yeah, but
like
even Netflix sometimes will like. I feel like there's some specials where I'm like, I don't know, you kind of missed on this one. I think they just like are throwing 50 darts at the board trying to get one bullseye.
well, and I think it's almost because I've been thinking about it is like if you can get and I saw like there's this account on Instagram like Gary V kind of owns it. It's called 137. And they were like
If
Twitter
it's not
back in the day.
1738, then I'm out.
Yeah, I know. But like they posted something like Twitter back in the day put like if you're getting 5 likes, that's actually a lot. And somebody and but if you think about it, 5 likes on all of your posts, that's not that different than like 100,000 likes because you have 5 people paying attention to you, but 100,000 likes compared to 375 million people in the country, like whether it's 5 or it's 500,000, like either way, it's not that big of numbers when you look
Yeah,
at the scope. So all you really need is like less than 1% of the country to like you and give you $1, and you're like a millionaire.
yeah. I mean, like I would love to like the level of fame that like Kyle Kinane has is the dream for me. Where like the people that like you, I feel like are diehard fans. Most people don't know who you are, so you can get a cup of coffee. And you don't have to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like those, like Jerry Seinfeld, Dave Chappelle. That's like too much fame. I
Yeah,
want
it
to
would
be
be
able to,
super cool to like go somewhere and have like a waiter know who you are, and
yeah,
then like
but
you know
not
what I
every
mean?
restaurant. Like, yeah, just
Yeah,
like
yeah.
once in a while.
Like the Tavern of Stowe. Like I want them
Yeah,
to know who I am and get my meal comped, and then I can be like, "Hey guys, go there," and like their sales increase because I was there. Like that's the level
yeah.
of fame that I want. Is like
The
I want
level
to
of
be able to
fame
help.
I want is to walk into a Great Clips and have them say, "Oh, you're you." Again, this podcast is sponsored by Great Clips.
Great clips. The clips are great. The haircuts are okay.
Great Clips. It's worth every dollar until it isn't.
Great clips. You will get the haircut that you paid for, nothing more.
Great Clips. More women will notice you, but not in the way you want.
Great clips. If you see a homeless person who needs a haircut, just send them here.
Great Clips. We'll cut any hair on any living or dead person.
Great clips. Do you have an interview that you don't want to get the job? Great clips.
Great Clips. Your dad loves it.
That's the best one. All right, we'll clip all that. We'll see if Great Clips is interested.
Dude, I just can't. You know what's gonna suck is they're gonna like Great Clips is gonna pull this up in their office meeting on Monday, and they're gonna be like, "God damn it, Mark, we've been paying you to get the marketing in order, and these two idiots did it in a weekend, an hour podcast. They nailed it. They nailed their demographic.
They nailed it 100% and improved it. And like, so we're paying you how much? And we could have gotten these knuckleheads. Like, we're so good at that just off the top of the dome. Imagine if we were trying to actually sell something.
I can't. That's too much pressure.
I
I feel like
want
I would
to.
beef it. It would just be like Great Clips. It's like Wendy's for your hair.
The Great Clips here is literally like almost attached to a Wendy's, so you're not, so it's not that far off. Great
That's
Clips.
so
If
funny.
you skip out on your appointment, we don't give a shit.
I wish they would do that, like Great Clips now inside all Wendy's. Like have like one of those weird partnerships. Like a
So our
combination Long John Silver's Great Clips combination. That's
they should do a Popeyes Great Clips. Like you could just sit
oh
there,
my
eat a
god.
Popeyes chicken sandwich, and get a haircut at the same time.
And then KFC is gonna merge with Best Cuts
Oh,
to stay
I bet
relevant.
you they'd be sports clips. I bet you KFC would be more sports clips.
Yeah, yeah.
Somebody somebody up here, because I was looking for a new
I
spot
just
to get a
hate
haircut.
that you said the sports clips thing real quick, and then I thought about it, and I was like, no, that's a good point. He's right. And then I laughed because I was like, why did I take that seriously?
Like KFC and Pizza Hut, like the color schemes with sports
Yeah.
clips would merge.
Yeah, it'd be perfect.
It'd be great. Like in one of those gas stations where it's like KFC, Pizza Hut, Speedway, sports clips.
I just want to say to any KFC sports clips or great clips out there, this is our intellectual property, and you will pay us if you want to use these ideas.
Oh yeah, we've already got our copyright lawyers on this.
Yeah.
Like
Don't
we have a
ask for that.
patent out for your products merging. that's how good our lawyers are.
They're so good you won't even find them when you look for them. They're so good. It's like they don't
We got
exist.
the CIA of lawyers.
Is that a good thing?
I don't know. I mean, they've probably. I don't know if it's a good thing or not. Who do you got on the Super Bowl today?
Chiefs, baby.
Oh, really? I just bet money that the Buccaneers were going to win.
I wanted to bet something weird. I wanted to bet like a pair of designer jeans or something.
That's too much. It was like $20. It's not like
okay.
that much money. So like,
I don't know how much designer jeans cost.
like over $100.
Oh, never mind. That's too much.
What designer jeans? Like Levi's are $50.
I will bet one pair of Levi Strauss, baby.
Do you know what I want to talk about? I made a very funny Matchbox 20 joke on Twitter the other day, and nobody liked it because I just looked in I was gonna Google some.
I don't have a Twitter.
Oh, you don't?
No. Have you ever noticed that I've never liked anything you've done on Twitter?
Here's the thing. Me and Josh Lewis were friends for probably 3 or 4 years. Like we would like and retweet each other's tweets all the time, but didn't follow each other, and we didn't know it for like multiple years. So you could have like 500,000 followers, and I would have no idea that you have a Twitter.
Jesus.
But I had to Google. I was listening to Unwell by Matchbox 20.
Good song.
And I was like, yeah, great song. I think Matchbox 20 should be out. I said the tweet was something like Matchbox 20 should be allowed to tour right now because you're not going to catch COVID there. The worst that'll happen is you'll become a little unwell. And
oh my God.
And like, yeah, is it a bad joke? Sure. But is it a perfect joke? Yes. Like that should crush the 90s demographic, but apparently I'm not on that spot in Twitter.
Oh my God. That's like a joke that like your mom's boyfriend would love. Like he's like, hey, I don't like kids, but your son's pretty cool. Like
like that would honestly be
like anytime you meet any of his friends now, he's gonna be like, hey, tell him that Matchbox 20 joke.
Yeah, like that would be
after COVID's over.
My son's a comedian. He told this Matchbox 20 joke and like just completely butcher it, and they'll be like, it's way better when he tells it, let me tell you.
Yeah. So and like when they tell it, it's gonna start like, so you know the song Unwell because you're gonna need to know it. Okay,
how much do you know about Matchbox 20?
I wish that's what job interviews were like. On a scale of 1 to 10, how many Matchbox 20 songs do you know?
That's one of the things. Like I honestly think that I shouldn't be allowed to vote with how much Paramore that I listen to. Like, like I just like they should just ask you, be like, how many Paramore songs have you listened to today? And it's like the same songs or different songs multiple times. How like what are we gonna say? And right with that question and that answer to that question, they should Paramore, be like, yeah, you're not qualified.
They're from the States, right? And if you don't know what the States are, that's a colloquialism for America. But
yeah, they're like the Arctic.
Sorry, I didn't mean to be so good. I didn't mean to be so brash on our podcast when talking about our country. Wow, this is embarrassing. But you know what I'm talking about, right? The States.
That's why 13 people listen to this.
And I'm making them dumber. And
that's what we're here for.
Well, we're laughing now, but I think the States is going to catch on. I think people are really going to start using that.
Everyone across the pond will
Yeah.
will love calling it the States.
Like some Harrison's going to be hanging out with his mom, and he's going to be like, "Hey, mom, things are looking up for the States," and she's going to be like, "What the fuck did you just say? What did you
Hey,
call
shout
me?"
out to Harrison and his mom.
Both of them.
Hey, you're welcome for me making you famous to one person.
You're talking to me?
Yeah, you.
Thank you.
Hey, man. Did you give him? Did you? You should have come like, because you said he was excited to see you, and I love Harrison Poole.
I think he's always excited. He's just the nicest person.
He's the nicest person. But what you should have done is just like given him an autograph that he didn't ask for, and
And it's just your name. It's not even my autograph. I just signed he was wearing your hoodie and I just signed your name on his hoodie.
That was like when I still have some in my trunk, but like those like cross shirts that I was selling a while ago, and like Bill Stone was like, I was for whatever reason, he's like, I want two of them. And I was like, why do you want two? And he's like, well, I want you to sign the other one. And I was like, oh, that's smart. And so like I know it was very weird.
I don't know if I think I've signed one thing ever. And it was
I signed a person in November.
I hope they got it tattooed.
I don't know, because it was when I was opening for Zoltan, and it was the Thursday night show, and this kid said it was his like 22nd birthday, and it was his first comedy show ever.
Was he sober?
And no, he was not sober.
Oh, okay.
But like we were like it was just like a weekend where everybody crushed every show except for like the Friday late show because there were 7 people there. But like, and this kid came up to Zoltan and was like talking to him, and he was like, "Hey, do you want to like sign my arm?" So Zoltan signed this kid's arm, and then he like came up to me because I was like hanging out with Zoltan and we were just like talking or whatever. It was our first night and everything. And the kid comes up to me. He's like, "Hey man, like you disappeared before I could have you sign me." And I was like, all right, I guess. Like I was just the host, but like
you disappeared before you could sign me.
Yeah, people don't know that you're there for like $25. Like they paid more money than you're making to see you do that. So it's always
you want an autograph?
Yeah, from me? Like, are you sure?
Give me more money.
Yeah.
Autographs are $50, kid.
Did you ever do that when I don't know how big of like a college sports fan you are, but like when I was growing up, like Ohio State was like it was like the AJ Hawk years where like they were like incredible.
Yeah.
And he was at like the mall closest to us just on a day that we were there. And like it was like $50 to get a signature or something like that. And my mom was like, "Yeah, we're not paying $50 for this." And I was like, "Yeah, like I'm not like that's the biggest racket is like you like buy a jersey for like $100 and then you have to pay $50 for like the autograph. That's insane."
Because like I have like a weird actually amount of autographs in my apartment, but they were all free. Like I didn't have to pay any extra dollars for autographs. You know what I mean?
No, I think I have a Boss Rutan signed poster that I bought for like charity. I'm trying to think of anything else that I have autographed.
Well, because I have the Queens of the Stone Age Bob Evans hat.
One of a kind.
Personal favorite.
Yeah.
I have a Mike Birbiglia poster that like I won in a giveaway he had for free.
Oh, I have a Sinbad signed picture that Josh got.
That's amazing.
I know. I need to find it. Oh.
And I saw Mulaney and they were selling records, and when I like went up to the merch table, I was like, "Should I get a T-shirt or a record?" He's like, "Hey, between you and me, he just signed the top like 15 records," and I was like, "Record?" And it wasn't like any additional money for this like autographed one, so I was like,
I bought that Sam Talent book, Running the Light, and they were if you buy them like from his website, they were autographed. So I guess I have that, which is like fine. Like, have you read that book? No. Do you read often?
Yeah.
Okay. I know it's like a weird.
On the last podcast, we did like an entire where we talked about books.
I don't know. But like it's
we literally.
But it's weird when you like have to ask another adult because a lot of people don't like read.
Well, I
So
like pictures better, but whatever. A picture's worth 1,000 words. So if I'm reading pictures all day, holy shit.
wow,
Yeah. And movies are just quick
moving
pictures.
pictures. Yeah.
So do I read? A lot.
Netflix is my favorite book. But like it's I don't have you read that book yet? Like it was like wildly popular for like comedians to get it. It's like it's a hard read. Like I get it and I don't dislike it.
It's a hard read.
Um
If I can't like get into a book, it's a waste of money.
and that's I don't want to say it was a waste of money and I don't want to say it's a bad book. It's just like it feels like have you read Bukowski like
Mm-hmm.
lately? Okay. So
Not
it
lately, no.
but I mean, it almost feels like a Bukowski book, but like that instead of like working for the post office, he's like a stand-up comedian. So
Oh,
you're like, yeah, I get it, like fine, but
books.
I'm not like deep enough into it where like I'm finding like the redemption side of it or like whatever the point is, and I'm afraid that it's gonna be like a Bukowski book where there's like no point to it. So it's just like do I want to like continue reading that or like I bought another book and I was like I think I'm just going to read this other book and maybe I'll come back around to it at some point.
I mean, I've read a couple comedy books. What's the one that like everybody reads for improv?
Well, it's not it's a fiction book about like the guy is a comedian in the
Yeah,
book.
no,
So
I
it's
get
not
that.
okay.
Yeah,
I don't know. I've never read any comedy books.
yeah, they're not helpful. I've not found them to be helpful. I mean, the one I'm talking about, it's called like Truth and Comedy,
Okay.
and it's basically like I like the overall message of it because like the message of the book is like you want to when you go on stage, you want to be like the realist version of yourself, and you just want to be like tuned in, and you know what I mean? Like you just want to be honest. But like,
Yeah, it's almost like comedy classes where like you can learn like if you have a certain amount of people who aren't shitheads, like you will learn everything in a comedy class within a
yeah,
couple weeks of doing comedy. And it's like just sit and ask questions or like hang
and
around
I
open mics
still
and you'll figure it out.
like I get why you would take them for like sketch and improv because there's like a art form to it, but for like stand up, I've never seen anyone that can teach you how to write jokes better.
Even with yeah, like it's and I mean I get like I like writing workshops. Those are fine. Like I never really got much out of it because like I used to do workshop jokes with
Mm-hmm.
Jensen. Did you I don't know if you knew Jensen Strock, but like I would like
Yeah, I went to. I think I did her show in Toledo once.
okay.
Yeah, the pizza place.
Yes.
Yeah.
So like she went to Kent and like started comedy around the same time I did. So
Oh,
like
okay. Oh, she's. Oh, I didn't know she was like here. I just knew her from being in Toledo.
yeah, she's from Toledo, but like she started comedy in Kent. I think she started a little bit earlier than I did, but like it was like around the same time. So like we would go to like bars and write jokes and like workshop and stuff. But like half the time it was like either because I'm very like, hey, what do you think of this premise? Do you think this is a good idea? And then I'll like try to write on it because I don't want you to write my joke for me.
Yeah.
And she would be very like, what do you think about this? What do you, and which is like, there's two different ways to do it. Like collaborating, there's nothing wrong with it. She would still write it and be like, what do you think about using this word instead of that word?
Yeah.
So like, it would be like, all right, we're basically writing jokes for her right now. And then like when it was time for me to like ask a question, there'd always be like some random dude that would like come up and bug us because like I'm writing jokes with like a girl that knows everybody. So you're just like, all right, man, like I could have just sat at home for an hour and a half and got as much writing done. Or like just like if we wanted to go hang out at a bar, like I could have just done that instead of like
Yeah.
brought all my shit with me.
I mean,
But I
I
see like
like.
workshops are good, like because you can bounce it off of each other and someone can punch it up. But like that's also like what hanging out at Mike's does too,
Yeah.
you know?
When you have like, I like writers' rooms for like sketches. Like if you have a group of good people that you think are all funny, I think it's great when you're trying to like do a sketch. But like, I feel like I've never had great luck when it comes to like having writing my jokes with people. I don't know. Maybe it's because I don't like using other people's jokes in my set. It's like a pride thing for me.
Yeah, it's very weird. Like the punchline to my like Mr. Christ if you're nasty joke, like I didn't have that part and like I couldn't finish it off. And Ben DeGraw, who came up last time, he texted me. Like we were outside of a show. This one I was smoking cigarettes too. So I was like outside smoking with him. and he was like, "Hey, have you ever tried to tie like the Miss Jackson if you're nasty into like the Jesus thing?" And I was like, "Oh, there's got to be something there."
Yeah.
Like, and it's just sometimes like that happens, but that just happens. Like
Yeah.
you tell it so often, or like same like, hey, when you're up there, just move the mic stand out of the way. Like that's what these comedy classes teach you is like just move the mic stand out of the way and like don't run the light. It's like, all right, you learn that. Or like when you do crowd work at like when you're middling and you just learn that by doing it.
Yeah.
Like
I don't
sure
know.
somebody could have told you that when you like started, but like it also doesn't happen that often. And most of the time nobody cares at 99% of shows, but then you like do it at the one and you're like, oh yeah, that makes sense why you shouldn't do that. But
Yeah. Yeah, the only thing that was like a bummer about that, honestly, was that so I did crowd work at a show where I had like 10 minutes. I did like 4 minutes of crowd work, 6 minutes of jokes. And then afterwards they were like, you don't have 10 minutes of jokes, so that's why you had to do crowd work. I was like, I have like 20, 25 minutes of jokes. I just didn't know that crowd work was a no fly zone. You know what I mean? I was
and
like,
it's
I could
almost
have
like
done all jokes. I just wanted to do crowd work because it's fun. And the
yeah, it
crowd was
is.
like one of those crowds where you look at them and you're like, they're going to be fun to do crowd work
Yeah,
with.
but that's also like why the headliners should be able to get it because like you don't want them to go out there and try to do the same thing that you
Yeah.
just did. And it's like the people are going to see the headline. I don't know, and I like it. Like it's good to like be good at crowd work and like to do crowd work and like be able to do it. Like if something were to come up, like if something obvious like that you have to address in the room happens, like nobody's gonna get on you for doing that. Like it
Well,
happens
there
all the time.
like there was a table and like the Tank was hosting. They asked if they were dating, and they were like, it was like a guy and a girl, and they were just like, no, we're neighbors. And then they just that's how they left it. And I was like, that's so weird. Like somebody has to ask them what's going on there.
Yeah, I want to know why, especially when I don't when I'm hosting, if it's like obvious like that somebody's like gonna try to be part of the show, like you'll be like, "All right, like I'll give them like the I will even say it half the time when I'm hosting too. I'll be like I'll point it out. I'll be like, obviously you want attention. Like what
Yeah.
like what's your deal, man? And they'll be like, well, it's da 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 da. And then I'll be like, all right, sick. And then like they might pop off again. I'll be like, all right, man, like I'll give you your attention. But if you do this for anybody else on the show, like it's gonna be an issue.
Yeah.
And that kind of like quells it a little bit. And I think that's almost why a lot of people don't like it when you do it because if you're like, hey man, what's your deal? Like if
Well,
you go to like the crowd work and
that's
then
like I talked to like Cody Cooper about it, and he was saying like, yeah, like the logic behind it is because then you kind of like open the door for people to think that it's interactive, and if the headliner doesn't want to do crowd work, you just kind of hosed them. And I was like,
exactly.
oh, that's a really like I would have never thought of that.
Well, and especially and
But
that's what I'm saying. Like if it comes, like obviously you have to deal with it. You can't be like, all right,
yeah,
bud, like and because then you're just like it's not the 80s where you're like you have to assert your dominance, but it's like you're like so set in your like scripted thing that you're not gonna handle what's just happened in the room. But like you can't be like, oh, that's a funny hat, guy. Like, let's
I
go at
literally
it.
did that last weekend. Is that why you're fucking bringing that up?
Oh no, is that the Paramore thing at
Yeah,
Hilarities?
yeah.
Okay.
I
No,
literally.
I did I didn't even
Oh,
think
that's
of
a
that.
funny hat, guy.
But that's at a crowd work show. Like
Yeah,
that's so I mean that's what it's made for.
and it was a
Where
funny
it's
hat.
yeah, it's an all right hat. It's a hat that most people see.
It's a Slav hat, dude. That's my people.
That's
That's
my
the.
people.
It was like my grandpa's only hat for like his entire life. I think it was one of those like Russian
Well,
hats.
you should have got on him for cultural appropriation.
It's not what I was gonna do at all.
Why?
I
Like
don't know.
that's what you open the door to. Like that's a great joke. Like, hey
No, I
man,
want the world to be more Slavic. I don't
oh,
want to. I don't want to take
you
that
want
away from people. I want to sneak
let's
some Slav into their lives.
okay.
Or it's all over. We're all eating pierogies. We're eating like weird sausage things.
I do like pierogies. I'm kind of bummed that pierogies aren't a thing everywhere.
Yeah, are they not a thing in Wisconsin?
I mean, you
Do they
can
have like
get them.
Miss T's or whatever?
I'm sure you can find them. But like, it's not something that I would eat all the time. I just like no. It's like having like
It's a lot of
saying that
carbs.
well, it's like knowing that Harrison will kill somebody for me. I don't want him to. It's just nice knowing that he's there. You know what I mean?
With a knife,
So
waiting.
yeah, like he's ready. So if I'm ever
Eyes
like, hey,
open, doesn't blink.
go. Right. But like just the same thing with pierogies. Like I like to know that they're like on deck wherever I want. Like I can be like, hey, there's gonna be a food truck on every corner that sells like their special pierogi. Like
I don't know why
you
you
kind of miss that.
use the phrase like on deck whenever I want, and just like something about like a pierogi cruise liner sounds amazing to me.
Like an entire, but aren't pierogies more like Polish instead of
You
Slavic?
betcha. Yeah, they're Polish, not really Slavic.
So you were trying to again take somebody like just like all
Melting
right,
pot. That's America, dude.
it's a melting pot.
That's a
Hitler.
phrase people have
Like
really stopped using recently. Like,
yeah, people are very separated.
yeah.
All right. Well, we're rolling in on the hour mark here, and it is Super Bowl Sunday.
Go Browns.
So, what was the rule that we had? Times a square circle, and tomorrow.
Oh, tomorrow's a hair salon.
I need to get into.
Oh my god, this is
I
so
need
bad.
next time you're in there, you need to be like, "Hey, I shouted out your business. Can I get this?"
Next time I'm in there, I'm gonna wear aviators and a leather jacket and just be like, I own this place. This is my.
Wait, isn't Times a square circle already one of our things?
Yeah.
I
I
don't
don't know
think
if we can. Can we append a rule?
Hold on a second. Yep, time is a square circle or a circular square. Can't just like you can't just add to that list.
It's called an amendment. That's America, baby.
Oh, I guess we could possibly do that. Tomorrow's a haircut. We'll just put tomorrow's a haircut.
Yeah. And this episode, once again, was brought to you by Great Clips.
You know what I've never understood is why haircut is one word.
I don't know. Maybe the space is too expensive.
Might be onto something there.
Might be onto something. But
I mean, I understand that a haircut is a noun.
The
And
biggest
so, like,
thing. Why is haircut
haircut
one word and high school's 2 words?
Yeah, I don't get that either.
Right? Weird. English.
English is the worst language.
It's the rule.
That's a weird language.
Yeah.
Tomorrow's
like,
a haircut.
Growing up, I could never spell through, like the THR version of it. Not like,
do you know what I've had a problem with lately for no reason? And I don't know why I've had to use this word so much, but taught versus taught. Like I taught somebody something versus this rope
like
is
like
taught.
a tiger. Yeah.
Yeah. I've never had an issue with that. Like ever in my entire life, and I've had to Google the difference between taught and taught probably 20 times.
The word that's killing me lately is like the word embarrassing. I keep forgetting how many R's and S's there are. It's like it's significantly more letters than you'd think, and thank God for spell check.
MISSISSIPPI. Like they should have like some sort of like beat, like how you remember how to spell Mississippi for embarrassment. Because guess how many times I've spelled Mississippi in my entire life? 4, maybe. And I'm always talking about Brett Favre when I'm doing it. So like Brett Favre from Mississippi was showing his penis to nice women. Like that's probably the only time I've ever said that. And then, but embarrassment, like Brett Favre from Mississippi, showing his penis to a nice woman is an embarrassment to football. Like it, but half of those words I know how to spell correctly.
Damn, dude. Oh man, I was gonna say one more thing and then I've lost it. It's gone. My memory.
Damn it! I'm sorry. I was talking too much. Sorry, John Brown, for me talking too much. That was a very weird. Were you there when he said that to me?
Who, the Browns?
No, John Brown. When he was like, he goes, "Yeah, I like your guys' podcast. I liked Classy Dinner as well, but you talk too much. I like your balance with Joe better."
I wasn't there for that. I probably was there for that, but you were like, when you were hosting, you were like in the zone.
Yeah, I was very edgy that night. Yeah. I don't know what the deal was.
No, that's funny.
But yeah, like he was, it was at the funny stop. So you were there, but he was like, "Yeah, I liked Classy Dinner, but I like this one better because I think Classy Dinner, you talk too much." And I was like, "Well, John, I was with somebody who didn't want to be here. So this one, Joe actually enjoys doing it and he's funny as well. So like, it's easier for him to fill time."
So when I get like an idea I want to talk about, I get too excited and then I just start like interrupting. That's the thing I've tried to be better at like this whole time. I'll get too excited about. Yeah.
Well, that's like the Zoom thing is a little bit harder. Like,
The
but especially
timing.
when we were in person, like we can like pop a
It
little
was
bit
great.
easier. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, I might be back. Well, I'm definitely coming back in May for like the Akron thing.
Cool.
So we can do one then. But I might be back in Ohio or in
What
April. We'll
Akron thing?
see. The Rubber City Comedy Festival thing that
Oh, I didn't get in,
they
so
I got in because I was like, hey, if there's gonna be a comedy festival in Akron, and I'm in the top two people to come out of Akron anytime recently, I should probably be in it.
should probably
But
be headlining it.
it is what it is. I'm just writing dumb bullshit jokes, and
Same.
I'm gonna tell them, and I'm gonna laugh, and I'm gonna go like when I went and hosted like the Funny Stop thing, like I told a 3 minute joke, and it's like, all right, like this 3 minute joke is better than any of the other jokes you heard tonight. I don't need to prove it. I already know it's good. Like I'm gonna tell my joke, and whoever's gonna laugh is gonna laugh, and I'm okay with that.
Well, I'm just like I freaking hate festivals because there was like a period where I applied to like 4 of them in a row and I got rejected from all of them, and I was like, I just burned like $120 for nothing.
Yeah, I
You
did that.
know,
And it was like one of those weird things where like
you know how many pizzas that is?
yeah, that's a lot of pizzas. That's like
Shit ton.
yeah, that's a good amount of pizzas. But like also for like the
DiGiorno's.
Cleveland Comedy Festival, where it's like, oh, I'm gonna spend $20 to submit. Like I'll spend $20 to submit to the Cleveland Comedy Festival. One, because I like those guys. Two, because it's a good festival. And
Yeah.
three, it's only $20. Like whatever. And I'll end up like hosting it anyways. Like so I'll make my $20 back.
Yeah.
Um and
I
it's
think
like
that was one of the ones I also didn't get into last year.
I've never gotten into it. Like, and
Yeah.
it was just almost, it was what it is. So it's like, fine, I'm not that worried about it. But it's also like, and that's one of the things that I've learned since I moved here is like when other comedians, like, you don't want like gatekeepers where like, or a club where you're like, oh, I have to like play the club game and like submit it to people. But it's the same thing with like when the comedians run the show, they'll like give
Yeah,
it
it's
to
so
they'll give
annoying.
it to their
Yeah.
butts. And it's like I don't want to like yeah, cool, it'd be nice to have more comedian friends, but I'm also not going to like sit here and be like, "Hey, you're so great. Now let me into your festival that like the headliner's going to be at and talk to four people and not talk to everybody else." Like whatever. Like I can Facebook mid-level comedians all day. I don't need to go to I don't need to go to Alaska to do that.
Brag about it, dude. Jesus Christ, you're just bragging all day. I know this was going to be the episode where you just came on and proved that you're better than everyone. And
Yeah, proved I'm better at like I do the same exact things you do,
I just hate
and
it
somehow I'm
when
better at it.
people come up to me and they'll say, "What's it like doing a podcast with Ray?" And I just say, "He's so braggadocious that
That's a good word.
yeah." I just
You
wanted to
only
use
get that
word.
word from reading, so I should have just known that you read by the use of vocabulary that you have.
I don't know. Do you listen to like Gary Gulman?
No.
He's like one of those comics that like after seeing him do comedy, it made me like want to use more like a more diverse word set. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's like very smart.
Yeah, he's smarter than I'll ever be, but like him and then like he uses like a very intelligent, diverse word set, and then people like Kyle Kinane are just so creative with how they put words together. I just like both those guys like change the way I look at comedy. It's great.
That's how I think it's very fun, and it's always like this is why I don't write like physically write stuff. Like I'll write in my phone or something because like there's so many things that like
Dude.
that look good in writing. Like the wordplay of it is so
Yeah.
good in writing, and then when you say it out loud, you're like, meh.
So
Like it is what it is.
I love writing by hand, but like I kept losing like I would keep these little notepads in my pocket and I kept losing them. And I had to buy a new cell phone last week. And so like when you get a new phone, they transfer all your files over. And I was like worried about the audio clips because I wanted my recorded sets. And so we checked them after I got the phone. Audio clips were there. I was like, sweet. We deleted like my old phone. We deleted the memory off it. Took my new phone home. Get in bed that night, and I think of a joke, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna type this in my phone so I have it for tomorrow. Roll over, pull my new phone out, and all my notes are gone. So I lost like months of just like notes and like
Keep
punches
notes.
for sets.
Keep notes.
Huh?
Keep notes is what I got because that same thing happened to me. I used to put them in my my phone notes,
Yeah.
and then I did the same thing. I lost all my recordings, because I
have
just use like the
those, so
phone
thank God.
recording.
Yeah.
Well, I have to do it because I'll eventually get one, but I have to do that. So like I lost all my recordings, but I also lost all of my notes. And
Jeez.
so I got Keep Notes because it automatically backs it up to Google, like
Well,
to the Google Drive.
the new Samsung like the notes back up, so now it's backed up.
Oh, well, that's
But
good.
the old ones are.
Which I mean, I could probably lose 99% of my notes,
Same.
but it's also like I'll go through every once in a while and I'll be like, oh, this might actually fit in something that I've been writing. Like I had this old joke, like it's the dumbest joke, and
Yeah.
but I still love it. And it was like when Bitcoin first started getting popular. So like now that it's coming back around, I get to like say like the joke
Dogecoin,
is,
bro.
but I made $30 off of Dogecoin last night. And then I sold it all. Because fuck the line. But like the joke is like I don't completely trust Bitcoin because I can't throw Bitcoin at strippers. Like, am I supposed to make it rain from the cloud now? And like I think it is the funniest joke. It is so
I
dumb.
actually do. I was like, where's he going with this? And then I do like that the end of it.
Yeah, and like I said it on Wednesday, and you just heard like some guy who like I don't know if they like me or they don't like me. It's like some Milwaukee guy that I'm not like tight with, and he just goes, "That son of a bitch!" Like that's like I just, and I was like, "All right, well, like that's as good as a laugh for me."
I think you're gonna say he groaned. I like hate it when people friggin' groan.
I
When it's
think
like
it's
a
funny.
decent. If
Yeah,
it's like a decent joke and you get a groan, I'm like, get the fuck out of here.
and like it's obviously like a pun or something. Like
Yeah.
it's not like a good joke, but it's just like, God damn it, like, and I love that so much, but. All right, I forgot to get the crock pot down for our buffalo
you're
chicken
good.
dip that we're having. So,
Do we have to tag it? You know, great clips.
oh, great clips. The great clips, the overnight oats of haircuts.
The Kia Soul of haircuts. Great clips. The Johnny Manziel of haircuts.
Yeah. I think that's it. All right, we're going to